The year is 1888. The place is Whitechapel, a densely populated district in the East End of London. Narrow streets wind between rows of aging buildings, their brick walls darkened by soot and time. At night, a thick fog settles low, softening the glow of gas lamps and blurring the edges of the world. Footsteps echo along damp cobblestones, voices drift from crowded lodging houses, then fade into silence. This was a neighborhood shaped by constant movement. Workers, laborers, and families shared cramped spaces, while alleyways connected markets, homes, and back streets. It was a place where people lived close together yet often remained unseen. In this setting, a series of murders would begin, crimes that did not follow familiar patterns and left authorities searching for answers. I am Haris Ali Khan, and you are watching Harisfiles. To understand how these events unfolded, it is essential to understand the environment itself. Whitechapel's layout, its crowds, and its shadows all played a role. The setting provided both opportunity and concealment, allowing something unusual to take shape without immediate explanation. What happened here would soon draw attention far beyond these streets, marking the beginning of one of history's most enduring, unsolved mysteries. In the late 19th century, Whitechapel was one of the poorest areas in London. Overcrowding was severe, with multiple families often sharing single rooms. Sanitation was inadequate, and disease was common. Crime rates were high, ranging from theft and assault to violent street crimes. Daily life was difficult, and survival often depended on unstable work and informal economies. Women, particularly those without steady income, faced heightened vulnerability. Many relied on temporary lodging houses or work that placed them in public spaces late at night. Marginalized communities were often overlooked by authorities, and trust in law enforcement was limited. Police presence existed, but resources were stretched thin, and residents frequently handled disputes on their own. In the months before the first confirmed murder, reports of assaults and disturbances appeared in local records. These incidents were not always connected at the time, but they contributed to a growing sense of unease. As summer turned to autumn in 1888, tension in the district increased. Professional historians note that early records and newspaper reports varied in accuracy. Some details were incomplete, others exaggerated, shaped by competition between papers and public fear. Still, police logs and coroner reports confirm a clear timeline leading to the first victim. By late August, authorities were beginning to recognize that something out of the ordinary was taking place. The first canonical victim, Mary Ann Nichols, was found in the early hours of August 31, 1888, on Bucks Row. Her body showed signs of a violent attack, with injuries that suggested a deliberate method. Just days later, on September 8th, Annie Chapman was discovered in the backyard of a lodging house on Hanbury Street. Similar wounds raised immediate concern among investigators. Later that month, Elizabeth Stride was found in Dutfield's yard, followed shortly by Catherine Eddowes, whose body was discovered in Mitre Square. The final canonical victim, Mary Jane Kelly, was found indoors on November 9th, suffering the most severe injuries of all. Each crime occurred within a relatively small geographic area, often during late night or early morning hours. At the scenes, police recovered personal belongings, noted the positioning of the bodies, and documented injuries in detail. In some cases, clothing appeared disturbed or removed. Witnesses reported seeing unfamiliar men, hearing footsteps, or noticing brief encounters, though accounts often conflicted or lacked clarity. As the timeline developed, patterns began to emerge alongside troubling inconsistencies. The choice of victims, the locations, and the nature of the injuries suggested planning, yet not every crime followed the same approach. Experts later noted that this combination of precision and variation set these murders apart from most street crimes of the era, complicating efforts to identify the person responsible. As fear spread through Whitechapel, police moved quickly to respond. Local officers increased night patrols, questioned residents, and searched lodging houses and alleyways. When the murders continued, Scott Yard took a leading role, coordinating efforts and reviewing evidence gathered on the ground. Investigators compiled official reports, internal memos, and daily logs, attempting to track movements, timings, and possible suspects. Public appeals were issued urging witnesses to come forward with information. During this period, a series of letters arrived claiming to be written by the killer. Some were dismissed as hoaxes, while others were examined closely, adding pressure on authorities already struggling to maintain control. Witness statements often conflicted with physical evidence, creating contradictions that were difficult to resolve. Timelines contained gaps, and many promising leads went cold. Forensic science offered little help. There was no reliable fingerprinting, no blood analysis, and limited understanding of criminal profiling. Professional historians note that investigators faced intense social and political pressure, criticism from the press, and severe resource constraints. These limitations shaped the investigation and left critical questions unanswered. In the absence of a confirmed suspect, several theories have emerged over time. One suggests the killer was a local resident, familiar with Whitechapel's layout and able to move unnoticed through its streets. Another points to a medical professional or butcher based on the nature of the injuries and apparent anatomical knowledge. A third theory proposes a transient criminal, someone passing through the area who vanished once the murders stopped. More controversial ideas involve high-profile individuals or conspiracies, though these rely on limited or circumstantial evidence. Each theory has supporting details but also serious weaknesses. Modern experts have re-examined records, weighing plausibility against known facts, and often reach different conclusions. Some theories explain certain crimes well, but fail to account for others. Contradictions in timelines, witness accounts, and physical evidence prevent any single explanation from fitting the full picture. As a result, no theory has been able to resolve the case completely. More than 100 years later, the Whitechapel murders remain unsolved. The investigation uncovered patterns, evidence, and compelling theories, yet none led to a definitive answer. The identity of Jack the Ripper is still unknown. Questions about motive, method, and opportunity remain open. Why these victims? Why this area? And why did the killings stop? Experts note that the case continues to resist closure because of missing evidence, unreliable records, and the limits of the era's investigatory tools. Despite this, the case has a lasting impact on criminology, shaping how violent crime is studied and remembered. It remains a powerful example of how uncertainty can endure even after extensive investigation. The story of Jack the Ripper is not defined by answers, but by the unanswered questions that continue to surround it.